Something's been weighing on me the last few months, and I'm finally ready to talk about it on camera.
Everything in our kids' lives have changed. You know, we're trying to navigate this really time. Yeah. So I'm questioning if my time on the show Teen Mom, if it's coming to an end.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, February 12th. We have an update on a story that we broke yesterday about Chelsea Houska from Teen Mom 2. If you missed yesterday's video, this is the rundown. Chelsea from Teen Mom 2 is being sued by a licensing agent that she entered into a contract with in 2015. According to a lawsuit which was filed in federal district court in the state of New York, Envy Branding claims that Chelsea and her husband entered into a licensing agent agreement which gave Envy Branding the exclusive rights to branding and selling anything in Chelsea's likeness. Effectively, what Envy's job was to negotiate contracts and to help bring products into her world, help her to get sponsorships, also to help negotiate contracts on the show, along with any appearances that she might do, and then manage all of the income that comes with it. So anything that was paid by these companies, then they would take in and then they would pay out to Chelsea. They also were there to help as a consultant with her manager, and the Envy Branding and Chelsea's management team entered into a joint contract as well, where they were supposed to basically like flip-flop and share clients. And the manager was supposed to manage the talent, and the licensing agency was supposed to manage all of the intellectual property, all of the income that would come in, all of the deals that they were supposed to get, and help them expand their brand. And if you noticed over the years, Chelsea was able to maintain a very squeaky clean image, which enabled her to get a lot of endorsement deals. She also was able to launch a number of product lines, from her diaper bags to her backpacks to her sunglasses to Kohl's socks. She made a lot of money over the years, but one of the biggest complaints overall was that her products were so overpriced. In fact, when she recently launched products through a store for Aubrey, the feedback was people could not believe how expensive it was for a blanket. Now, the reason being could be that she's using a licensing agency which has commissions of 35% of royalties. Now, in some research that I did, it's actually not super uncommon if a celebrity uses a licensing agent to help them with contracts and securing product endorsements, that the licensing agent would take a heavy commission, because they effectively are doing all of the heavy lifting, going out and finding all of the product opportunities for the individual, and then managing all of the payments in and out, as well as negotiating contracts. So Envy had the exclusive rights to Chelsea's image. That could be why her squeaky clean image was a part of Teen Mom. One of the biggest complaints by some of the people on Teen Mom was that Chelsea's storyline was boring and that she never really talked about herself. But with a licensing agent managing your brand, they could have the ability to negotiate it with a network on what the licensing agent who owns the rights to Chelsea's person and her likeness, what they will agree to allow the network to show. So if the agency is like, that's not on brand, we don't like that, that's not consistent with brand, they can negotiate things like that with MTV. People have always said that she got that specific spin because she was the most well-liked character or the most well-liked cast member. I don't know. I think if you have a good either attorney or agent that helps you, they can get a lot of this done for them. Now, this past season, people noticed that her squeaky clean image was not as great, and she was having to share more about her real life, and then suddenly she dips out. Well, she's also being sued. So this lawsuit's happening now. Chelsea and her side says that this is not true, that Envy basically didn't pay her for a bunch of products that she endorsed for them, and that they owe her about $154,000. They also claim that this is a disgruntled former associate. So yes, that's the official statement. So apparently the Ashley, who has ins with MTV, spoke to the representative or the attorney for Chelsea and Cole, and they said in a statement to the Ashley, "This is nothing more than a frivolous lawsuit by a disgruntled ex-associate of Chelsea and Cole's who was terminated for breach of contract. Our client looks forward to their day in court when the truth does come out." Now, I'm not sure if you would qualify someone who is a licensing agent as a disgruntled ex-associate, but and at no place in the counterclaims that I saw did I see anything about them terminating her for breach of contract. It sounds more like she claims that Chelsea and Cole breached their contract along with her former manager. According to the contract that Envy included in their lawsuit, this is what they say about this relationship and what they actually were supposed to be able to do and what they actually effectively owned in regards to the license. It says, "Subject to the terms hereafter, licensor hereby licenses to the agent the exclusive worldwide rights during the term to represent the property and to use the property in any manner for the purpose of locating, negotiating, and consummating license agreements. Licensing agreements shall mean any and all licensing opportunities for the use of the property in connection with relating to the sale, rental, lease, or license of products or services for public and private consumption or use, including without limitation for use in connection with merchandise products, branded services, promotional tie-in premium opportunities, sponsorships, endorsements, exhibitions, and event and permanent attractions. During the term, you shall not use or authorize any third party to use the property in with the licensing agreement other than through the agent. Further, during the term, licensor agrees that the licensee shall not create, license, promote, endorse, invest in, partner with, or otherwise engage with other brands, whether owned by licensor or any other party except through agent." So it expressly says in the second paragraph of their contract that she is not allowed to engage with any brands outside of this contract. It also says that the agent shall have the right to retain and use sub-agents in its sole discretion and at the sole cost and expense. Agent shall provide licensor with a term sheet containing the principal proposed deal terms of any licensing agreements. They also will get royalties based on all of that. They will pay royalties out after that. And they say that the term for this contract for Chelsea was from January 1st, 2015 through December 31st of 2019. And that's the initial expiration date, unless it is extended in accordance with the terms and the conditions of the rep agreement. No later than 6 months prior to the initial expiration date, the parties shall enter into a good faith negotiations regarding the extension of the terms and beyond. The agent shall have the right to move the initial expiration date forward, but it's in the sole discretion upon written notice to the licensor. So even if they wanted to extend it, they could because they had this in their contract. So I'm not sure how a contract that basically says that we hold the exclusive rights to all of your likeness is a disgruntled former employee, but I might be missing something. And then under the responsibilities of their agreement, which they also signed, it says the agent shall be responsible for drafting and negotiating all licensing agreements of all which shall be consistent with terms and conditions of this agreement. Licensors shall be responsible for approving and executing all licensing agreements submitted to by the agent within 7 days. Licensing agreement shall require that payments thereafter be sent to the agent. The agent shall account to the licensor on a calendar quarterly basis under any licensing agreements during the applicable calendar quarter. So they are the ones that it says pretty clearly here that they're the ones that'll do all the negotiation. They're the ones that will do all the payments. They're the ones that are supposed to be doing everything. He also signed a document with this agency as well that pretty much outlined, that she was entering into this agreement, that she understood what she was entering into, and that this agreement would be until December of 2019. So she's saying that they terminated her for breach of contract, but it sounds like that wouldn't be able to happen. So their countersuit does claim that she did not provide quarterly statements. But the interesting thing is, in those counterclaims, they did not provide any evidence, or they didn't provide any exhibits for any of the claims that the statements that they made. So they're currently in discovery. The mediation that's happened went nowhere, and Chelsea and Cole are calling this frivolous. Now, on top of this, what I find interesting is that Cole is now also being sued for not paying a water bill. So according to The Sun and court records through the state of South Dakota, Cole's being sued by Culligan Water, like the Culligan man, for $2,500 for failing to pay for their services, and that they stopped paying for services in October and yet continued to deliver, and that Culligan sent multiple messages to Cole that they needed their money, and that Cole never responded. And so now they're suing Cole for $2,500 for water. I don't know if that's just a mild oversight, but you're being sued in this state for like not paying things, and then you're being sued for not paying your water. And this is actually not the first time that she's been accused of being involved in some sort of scam. I want to thank my subscribers for telling me about this, but back in 2012, she opened up a boutique called Chelsea's Choices, which abruptly got closed, and she announced that she would be selling jewelry that was from Asia and Europe at great prices. And within 3 months of announcing that she had these great jewelries that she was offering, the website was gone, and people did not receive their jewelry, and they were paying a ton of money in shipping. Some of them were not getting anything when they ordered things, and that apparently Chelsea's dad and her were blocking people and deleting comments when people were asking for refunds. So I don't know. Again, Chelsea's side is that this is a frivolous lawsuit that with a disgruntled associate, but the black and white to me looks like this was a contract that was breached, that the licensing agreement clearly states that they hold exclusive rights to her, and that she's not allowed to work with other brands outside of the licensing agreement. So I don't know. If they breached the contract, they should have taken legal steps then to terminate the contract, and then instead of moving forward and getting new deals. The misstep that could have happened here is that they still had this open contract and took deals when they shouldn't have been taking deals, and didn't report it to the agent. Just because you don't like a contract, you can't end the contract. There has to be a way out of the contract through legal remedies, and it doesn't sound like that happened, and that's where they are today. Now it's going to go to trial, and they want a judge to do the trial. They have depositions due, and the end of discovery is due by April. There's been multiple continuances because of her pregnancy. So they've been delaying this quite a bit, and now you've got them owing money to the waterman. And then they're telling the Ashley that it's a frivolous lawsuit. Now, the Ashley, of course, seems to make this seem like it's nothing. So it's always hard to know, but again, there's always two sides to the story, and they're going to say they can't wait to tell their side. What I find interesting, though, is that this was under wraps for such a long time, and that nobody found out about this. So that's my take on all of this. What are your thoughts on this after I've shared you just a little bit more about what's going on? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.